Baseball video. It's Jen Shepard, integrative manual physical therapist. I have a 17-year-old baseball player, and over time I've been planting seeds in him. The concept of structural health, foam roll for segmental mobility throughout his body, the concept of getting your true core to feel fire, ground reaction force of his feet, so that as he connects with the ground, that core is automatically starting to fire. All of that is so important for the health of shoulders and elbows. We were just at a scout day and I'm watching everybody warm up, and I am cringing because I'm watching these boys with bands, which, don't get me wrong, I'm grateful for mobility work. However, we've got to be smarter about our mobility work. So most of them were just stretching with their bands through the shoulders, lots of this internal external rotation. When I'm watching them do that internal external rotation, I'm watching the shoulder not stay in a healthy, efficient position. So most of these guys, kids, athletes, boys and girls, men and women, they're getting strong in the weight room, and that is wonderful. However, they're getting strong in tight positions. They're sitting all day long in school. So they're getting tight and they're getting strong in tight positions. And then when they go to perform, when they go to throw or pitch or swing or shoot or whatever they're doing, they are doing so on mechanics that aren't in the healthiest, most efficient position structurally from an alignment position. That shoulder ball, that shoulder glenohumeral joint should sit and spin. And what I see in these boys is I see a lot of this translation of the shoulders. So because of tightness, stiffness, inefficient position, and lack of true deep stability of the rotator cuff, which is the core of the shoulder. So what happens is when that shoulder is translating, all those little tendons are getting rubbed. So that is a place where I tend to see trouble with shoulders. So then as we move further, watching these boys as they're doing all of this shoulder work, there's no movement happening throughout their upper backs. And so for anybody with their throwing, swinging, running, we need segmental mobility throughout the entire body. So when they go to move, each vertebrae should have free, optimal, unblocked motion in order for movement to move throughout the body. When they go to rotate, a little bit of rotation throughout each level of the spine. So again, back to these kids are tight and stiff because they sit all day long. They're getting strong in these tight positions. They have lost, they're losing segmental mobility. So once they go to move and throw, there's no movement through the thoracic spine. The body will still look for ways to get it. So if it can't, if it's lost, for example, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, say 3 degrees at each level, if it's lost 15 degrees of rotation at the thoracic spine, where's the body going to get it when the demand for it is still there? So as you watch movement, as you watch them throw, we see areas where they don't move well, and then the motion becomes concentrated, the force becomes exponentially concentrated at the elbows or at the shoulder. So that's where we're starting to get in shoulder trouble, elbow trouble with these baseball players. And it breaks my heart when I hear of another one. Oh my gosh, I've got an elbow ulnar collateral ligament tear. Oh my gosh, I've got a labral tear. Like, all of that stuff can absolutely be prevented when you are smart and you know how to identify the areas in your body that don't move well, and you have a strategy, you have a really good prehab program that addresses movement throughout the entire body, and then deep stability to protect your joints. We need mobility and stability. Another thing I tend to see especially in my throwers, my pitchers, my catchers, actually any of my baseball kids who have elbow issues, are old falls where they have fallen and caught themselves with their hands. So that is actually more of a, it's all mechanical, it's all mechanics on like a micro level affecting the macro. But when we come to wrist, that's a hard thing to mobilize by yourself, and that's where you absolutely need to come in and get that assessed. Because again, at the end of that throw, if you don't have adequate mobility through the distal radial ulnar joint through where the carpals meet that distal radial ulnar joint, and or if there is restriction through the periosteum of the radius and the ulna. Again, there's an area of limited motion. So if we don't have enough pronation here because of an old fall off a scooter or something, we're going to get more at the elbow. So again, back to that concept, we have to create ease throughout the body so movement can flow throughout the body from head to toe, bottom up, top down, so that areas aren't subjected to excessive abnormal strain patterns. The last piece I want to get into is truly the concept of core. So alignment, mobility, absolutely. And then the concept of core, and I see this in my own boy, he's gotten so strong in the weight room. I love that. However, when I tested his core, don't let me push you, that core does not fire automatically. And planks and leg lifts and crunch work, Romanian twists, none of that is going to facilitate and help that deep true core turn on automatically. And that is the design of the core, to fire automatically in anticipation of movement. Crunches are not going to help you get there. So I had to show him that, hey, your core is not firing. So whatever you're doing core-wise is not translating into functional core stability. So I quickly got him back on the floor, like he knows what to do, but as he's working with coaches, he's doing what the coaches are asking him, which I said, okay, we need to bring in these other pieces in order to keep you healthy if you're going to be a baseball player. So teaching him how to engage his feet, how to feel when that core starts to turn on, and just these big long holds to turn that core back on. And back to compliancy, like when you feel a difference with regard to mobility and stability, it just helps build compliance into, yes, I want to do this work because I can feel the difference. I feel better after I have mobilized my body. I throw better, I can throw stronger when my core is working well. So stay tuned. My course is not active right now, Foundations in Structural Health. I'm in rehab mode of that course right now. But if you are seeking help, please reach out to my clinic, and we'll get you on the wait list to see what we can do to help your athlete be structurally healthy, because it breaks my heart to hear so many of these athletes with injuries, tears, and not being able to perform their sport. And not only that, but some of them even have to end up in surgery. We see down the road these old injuries as they become adults. Some of those old injuries and those inefficient patterns are still there.